Well, we've got a big race coming up. I say a big race. We've got a big election coming up, and we've got the primary just 2 weeks away, as a matter of fact, March 3rd. In that primary, for all of you listening to this program, you have an opportunity to make a choice related to, if you're a Republican, that is, the candidate for the Republican nomination to run for Congressional District 1, the new Congressional District, which is a mere quarter of the state of North Carolina, just a mere quarter. And one of the candidates is joining us this afternoon, Bobby Hanig, and I've had the opportunity of talking to him on numerous occasions. Prior to this, he, of course, and still currently, he serves as North Carolina State Senator for District 1, making up Currituck, Camden, Bertie, Camden, Currituck, Dare, Gates, Hartford, Northampton, Pasquotank, and Perquimans and Terrell counties. And many of these are the same counties he would be representing if he were to become Congressional District 1, and then a variety of others as well. And so with that, I'm going to start off by saying, welcome to the program, Senator Hanig.
Lockwood, great to be with you again, friend.
Pleasure.
Really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we were talking.
You did good naming off those counties. Did you have them written down?
I do. Are you kidding me? I know that.
I've had 4 different districts, over 4 different terms. So, once I figure out the counties that I have, they change it on me again the next term. So, I got to write it down too, brother.
Well, I know that I'm going to make some people unhappy, but I look at that as a portion of Southern Virginia, practically. And the reason I say that is so many of the property owners and so much of the investment is coming from unfortunately, the environs of Northern Virginia, because they see the value of coastal North Carolina and particularly northeastern North Carolina. So, that's an important topic, as a matter of fact. I want to talk about northeastern North Carolina and your work in representing that region. As you just mentioned, you've had that region in a variety of fashions because they've changed the districts on you so many times.
Yeah. So out of the 25 counties that we have in Congressional District 1, I've served 15 of them.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So you know them. You know them well.
Yep.
Bobby,
all the way down to Pamlico. I mean, I had Pamlico when I was in the House.
Okay.
So, I know the area. So, it's good to be back with friends.
How long have you been in public service and serving in elected office?
In elected office, I'm in my 9th year. So I served. I was the chairman of the Currituck Board of Commissioners for 2 years. I got elected, and they made me chairman right away. And then I've served 2 terms in the House of Representatives, and I'm in my 2nd term in the Senate.
Okay, and by the way, in your 2nd term in the Senate, and I've just got to make comment about this because so many people talked about it, amidst the possibility of, was it House Bill 442, or is it just 42? I remember now.
House Bill 442.
442.
Yes, sir. The shrimp trawl ban.
Shrimp trawl ban. The comment was made to me that when that bill was brought to the Senate floor, not only did you express a great deal of dissent and angst and anger, they said that people decided to step away from you because you apparently sat down and began writing and working on your response to that bill. And you put together a phenomenal, and this worthy of note, a phenomenal reaction to that bill. Your efforts are commendable. So I want to thank our guest, North Carolina Senator Bobby Hanig, for the work he's done in representing all of eastern North Carolina, from the Virginia border to the South Carolina border, and all of us who enjoy seafood. So,
yes, sir, Lockwood. And I'll tell you, the whole year last year, and it wasn't necessarily, it wasn't targeted at me, but it was targeted at eastern North Carolina for some reason. They tried to toll the ferries.
Yep.
And that's a tax. And I had to try to amend that on the Senate floor, and I had to vote against my own party's budget because it was a tax on my people.
Right.
And I just couldn't do it. And then the trawl ban came, of course, and I slept in my office for 2 nights.
Right.
I could not leave the building. I was so jacked up about it, because it was an all-out assault on Eastern North Carolina. Like something people have never seen. Since that time, I've talked to people that were there 30 and 40 years ago that couldn't believe what was happening in the state of North Carolina. They were disgusted by it. They said, we would have never thought in a million years that this would happen in the state of North Carolina. That's how bad it was. And I knew from the minute I saw it, everything that I had, any ounce of political capital or anything that I have, is going to get completely washed out by this amendment. And I didn't care because it was our people, man.
Again, North Carolina Senator Bobby Hanig, and of course candidate now, North Carolina Congressional District, U.S. Congressional District 1. And it includes our district as well. So in that conversation, we're talking about a potential representative for our community as well. And Bobby, it's a pleasure to have you back on the air with us now on a different topic altogether, and that is your race. Let's talk about this in relationship to your intentions. Why do you want to run? Why do you want to give up a job to fight Phil Berger and crew, who, by the way, is facing some serious competition, as you know. But let's set that aside. Why do you want to be a U.S. congressman and fight in Washington, D.C.?
Well, well, first off, I feel like I have to. We came close last time. The district's been trending red. Even before it redistricted, it was more of an R1 district, so it was favoring a Republican already. We're trending Republican. We came close last time. Don Davis has been a disappointment, and I've told him that. And he's lost his moral compass. He's voting against things that people in Eastern North Carolina, even Democrats in Eastern North Carolina, do not agree with. And he's got to go. At the time, Lori, who came close last time, wasn't going to run. She wasn't in the race. And I thought that I was the candidate that could do it. I've served 15 of the counties. I've got a great reputation, a good conservative reputation. I've been fighting the fight for Eastern North Carolina for a long time, and I just knew that I was the one that could bring it home. And it's to me, you know me a little bit, but I think you understand that for me, it's a calling. It isn't about money. I get paid $14,000 a year as a senator. It's not about money, brother. But it's important to me. I have a 27-year-old daughter who's born and raised in Currituck County. She's getting ready to have her first child, and it's important to me that she has the opportunities that I had. I've been very blessed in Eastern North Carolina. I'm a mechanic by trade. I've started some businesses. I've been very successful. It's great to give back. I get a rush out of it. I love helping people. And having an impact on people that I've had over the last 10 years is truly remarkable to me. And it doesn't get lost on me any single day that I do it. You just pull up to that building and you go, wow, I'm one of 50 people that get to help 11 million people in the state of North Carolina. And bringing that same thing to Washington, D.C. I know I can't go to Washington, D.C. and change it.
Right.
That's not why I'm going to Washington, D.C. I'd love to, because we know it's broken. There's no question. But I know that as one person, I can't do that. But what I can do is help Eastern North Carolina, because what we have is we have Greg Murphy, we have David Rouser, and you would have myself. We would have almost half of the state of North Carolina with 3 congressmen. That's a lot of juice, and there's 2 senior members. And I will ride those coattails, and I will keep bad things from happening in Eastern North Carolina, because that's mostly what we do, by the way, folks out there. The things you don't hear about are things that we keep from happening to you on a daily basis.
Right.
Because they're coming after us all the time. Whether it's our own party or it's the Democrats, it's the crazy people out there, we keep bad stuff from happening. And that's what we have to do in D.C. We have to protect our citizens. And when we're done protecting our citizens, we get to help our citizens. And that's a great opportunity for Eastern North Carolina. We're going to be Republican from Virginia to South Carolina to I-95 and then I-85 up in the northern part of the district.
Mm-hmm.
It's massive. And to have that opportunity for us is it's never happened in our history.
We're talking
Congressional District 1 hasn't had a Republican for 142 years.
Wow. All right, we're talking with Bobby Hanig. He is candidate for U.S. Congressional District 1, the newly redesigned district, by the way, much of which he's covered in one fashion or another as a member of either the North Carolina House or the North Carolina Senate, where he currently serves as representative for District 1, Bertie, Camden, Currituck, Dare, Gates, Hertford, Northampton, Pasquotank, Perquimans, and Terrell counties, and we were just talking to him about that a moment ago. Well, Bobby, let's talk about your background. How did you get into politics? Who is Bobby Hanig?
Well, very briefly, I'm a mechanic by trade. Again, I started a couple businesses. I had built a new business building for my service business. It's called Hanig Services. I've got a pool company, a home maintenance business, and a cabana service. It's all vacation rental stuff, mostly.
Wow.
Duck and Corolla area, right? Dare and Currituck County. And I had an issue, and I went to my county commissioner for help, didn't get help. Went to the county manager, didn't get help. So I had to work this issue with my fire marshal all the way to the state fire marshal.
Wow.
And won. Wow. Well, it's a classic story. I was talking about it with some folks, and they said, well, you should run for commissioner. I'm like, what's a commissioner do in Currituck County? Well, there's no municipalities in Currituck, so Currituck County is the government.
Right.
So if you're on the board of commissioners, you're the government in Currituck. So I said, well, you know what? I had to run in a primary against the chairman. And so I did. And a couple weeks after I filed, he said, man, and he was an ex-FBI guy, real smart guy, had to do all the big words and all that stuff, And he called me up. He said, man, I got a file on you. I can't find nothing. He said, I said, well, you're not looking in the right places. That's right. And he said, and he had dreams of running for sheriff. He said, if I lose to you as a commissioner, I can't run for sheriff, so I'm not even going to file. Wow. So, perfect. So I started going to the commissioner meetings, getting to know the commissioners, the staff, how everything worked. So I'd be ready to go in December. And right after the election, a few members came to me and said, how do you feel about being our chairman?
Huh.
I'm like, okay. So got sworn in. 5 minutes later, I'm the chairman of the Currituck Board of Commissioners. Politics, I have lifelong friends that still say to this day, they're like, who are you? Because this was never in your wheelhouse. But I'll tell you, man, and I know it sounds corny and whatever, but it's a calling for me, man. I just love what I do. And every day I get up, I'm jazzed up to go do it, man. It's incredible. And it's been a heck of a ride. It's just been, the door keeps opening. I was fine in the House of Representatives. My second term, I'm the Deputy Majority Whip. I've got Currituck, Dare, Hyde, and Pamlico counties, great people, love my district. It's a good Republican district. All I got to do is put some signs out. I can stay there to infinity if I wanted to. Just keep doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And the Senate said, hey, how do you feel about running for the Senate seat that, is really a Democrat Senate seat, but, you have an outside chance of winning it and we would get the supermajority. I said, well, what the heck? What do I have to lose, right? So got in that race, and, of course, run the race, and everyone's like, oh, man, you're doing great. You're going to win. And, it was D5 district, and I won by 5 points. The next day, everyone was like, how'd you win? Because they didn't really think I was going to win.
Wow.
It was crazy because it was such a difficult district to win, and we've never won it, right?
Right.
But it had been so long since we had it. They were just surprised that we won. I said, well, for whatever reason, Eastern North Carolina, I understand the people here. There's so many Democrats here. There's so many unaffiliateds. Republicans vote Republicans, but the Democrats and the unaffiliateds, they're not your typical Democrats in Eastern North Carolina. Okay. They have strong family values. They have conservative values. There's a few of the crazy lefts out there, of course, but they're everywhere. So I understand the district, and I'm relatable because I'm just a guy. I still go to work when I'm not in the General Assembly. I still manage my business. I get out there. I fix pools. I clean pools. Fix hot tubs. Do home maintenance stuff. Whatever has to be done in a day, I do it. So I'm out there getting my hands dirty every day, just like everybody else.
All right. Now you were in the Army, right?
Yes, sir. I was a mechanic in the Army. Yes, sir. And
Okay.
loved the military. It was the 80s. I made sergeant in 2.5 years. In peacetime, that's pretty exceptional.
Impressive.
So I was all Army, but they just didn't really have anything to offer me. And I just felt like I needed to do something else. So I got out, and I was a railroad mechanic, traveled a little bit, across North and South America, fixing railroad equipment, and then got mad at my boss one day. I was in San Francisco working on the Bay Area Rapid Transit, and I didn't agree with him, and he said, "Well, you're going to Tacoma, Washington." I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "Yes, you are." I said, "Okay." So I got my rental car and I drove to Chesapeake and dropped my keys off on the counter on his desk and moved to Currituck.
So
Didn't have a job, didn't have anything. Moved to Currituck. I got a job driving a dump truck for $8 an hour.
wow.
And now I'm running for the United States Congress. Tell me that is not the American dream right there, brother.
We're talking with a dreamer for sure. And
I mean, you can't tell me it isn't alive and well, because I'm living it right now.
Bobby,
Every single day.
let's talk about with about 4 minutes to go here. Let's talk about your observations about the future for this particular position, U.S. Congress, which you're running to run. You are, according to the polling data, third in the rankings right now. But obviously, you feel comfortable.
That's only one poll.
I understand.
I've always been down in the polls. I love that.
All right. My question is, what do you see going forward? We give yourself about 2 minutes here to give us an answer to what do you see going forward? What would you take to Washington, D.C.? What is your endeavor?
My endeavor to go to Washington, when I get to Washington, D.C., is continue to do exactly what I'm doing now. Putting my constituents first, putting the Constitution second, putting God third, and putting my party fourth. Politicians have lost their way at every level. They have forgotten why they do what they do. I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten why I get up in the morning and do what I do. It isn't for me. It's for the people of Eastern North Carolina. And that's what I bring to Washington, D.C. What I bring to Washington, D.C. is what I've been doing at the state level, also working at the federal level on all the issues that we've been talking about for the last 4 months on the campaign trail. Whether it's veterans benefits, whether it's health care, whether it's prescriptions, whether it's ICE. I've done all these things, and I know how to do them. And that's what I'm going to, we have to keep putting America first, and we're doing that. Donald Trump's doing a fantastic job. We have to keep that momentum going. This country is in peril. If we don't take this seat, we have a very good chance of losing the majority in Congress. And the first thing Don Davis is going to do, he's going to vote Hakeem Jeffries to be the Speaker of the House. And the second thing he's going to do is try to impeach Donald Trump. And everything he's done in his term of office is going to get wiped out in 30 days. And I got to go up there and I got to defend that. I got to defend this country. And that's what I do every single day. And I'll just continue to do it.
Bobby Hanig
Nothing fancy.
Right? No. Bobby Hanig with us this afternoon. Again, our congressional candidate, U.S. District 1, the newly redesigned District 1. Bobby, we've got a minute to go. What are you hearing on the campaign trail as you're traveling across the region?
Well, I've been asked that since early voting started. I'm getting great feedback everywhere I go. I'm at the polls every day, and we have people manning the polls every day. We have 192 volunteers out there. We're hitting the heavy spots all day long, every day. I mean, it's just incredible the feedback people are giving me. Hey, these people, it's overwhelming for you, or it's, if we're in Carteret County, we're doing really good in Carteret County. So either people are really good liars or we're doing fantastic.
Well,
how about that?
I would acknowledge that. Well,
you never know, right?
Yeah,
you never know. But no, the feedback's been incredible, and the response has been incredible. just the outpouring of people throughout the state, and just so many people have reached out to, how can I help? What can I do? I don't have any money, but I can work a poll. I can put out signs. I can do whatever. It's been amazingly humbling. It's been an amazing experience. And I'm a feel guy. It's anecdotal.
Right.
But I have the same feeling I've had at the first time I ran for the House, the first time I ran for the Senate, and this time. I know in my heart that we're winning.
The energy level in our conversation, and we're about to wrap it up. You've been out on the hustings all day today. You were said to me earlier, you've been out putting up signs?
Yes, sir. I've been on the trail all day. Yesterday I left the house at 3:00 in the morning to go to the office. Then I got on the road. We had a forum in Nash County last night. I got home at 11:30. I was up at 3:45.
Wow.
We get up at 3:45 every morning and have coffee. I got up early because we had the Farm Bureau thing in Cove City. But it's a grind. It's every day.
Wow.
You got to get up. You got to do it. This is what I committed to, and I'm not going to let people down that are counting on me. I'm just not going to do it, and I'll do whatever it takes to do that. So
Bobby Hanig with us this afternoon. And Bobby, stay with me. I'll talk to you briefly off air, but thank you very much for your time. Great conversation. Again, candidate, North Carolina, U.S. Congressional District 1.